What I need to do then is go ahead and talk about another aspect there with these measures of central tendency, and that is the mean, median, and mode for frequency distributions. They are the same thing, the mean, median, mode for a frequency distribution, but there are some things we need to talk about. Now, first of all, let me give you a representative example here of a frequency distribution. By that, what I mean is just, it's a table, a table of frequencies. You got a value, and then you got a frequency of the value across from it. For example, I could do this one, 19, frequency 2, 20 has a frequency of 3, 22 has a frequency of 5, 25, frequency 7, 26, frequency 4, and 28, frequency of 2. What does all that mean? That's a frequency distribution. What does it mean? Well, like we said, frequency is just the number of times a value occurs. Number of times a value occurs. This is just a nice way of writing. If I wrote this out list-wise, this would be two 19s, right? 19 and 19. Then I'd have 20, I'd have it 3 times, 20, 20, 20. Then I'd have 22 5 times, so 22, 22, 22, 22. That's just a nice way of, instead of having to write all those out, if we have multiple occurrences of values, this is just a nice way of writing it out in a table. Okay, so that's all I mean by frequency distribution. You've got 19, you got 2 times, 20, you've got 3 times there. Okay? So that's what we want to do. We want to do the mean, the median, and the mode for our frequency distribution. Let's start with what's supposed to be the easiest one. But on these, a lot of times I get students missing this on the test. What is the mode here? Should be the easiest one. But for some reason, it gets missed a lot, but it should be an easy one. Which value here occurs most often? Well, here's the values, so it's got to be one of these. These are my values, right? The most frequently occurring value. Now, this isn't the total list. Like I said, if I wrote them all out, I'd have 19, 19. I'd have 20, 20, 20. Which one occurs most often? 25. Doesn't it? How many times does 25 occur? It occurs 7 times. The mode's 25. Because it occurs 7 times. Its frequency is 7. How many times does 22 occur? It occurs 5 times. How many times does 26? It occurs 4 times. Yeah. So you're just having to look at it. Which one has, on a table like this, the mode is just the one that has the most frequency, right? Most frequently occurring value. It's 25. Okay? It's just understanding the table, I think, is the problem. If you don't know what the table means, it's hard to figure out that one, but it's an easy one. 25. Frequency 7. You could have missed that. All right. Try not to, okay? All right, well, let's go to the mean. Like I said, these are all the same. However, to get the mean, which is what? It's the sum of all the values divided by the total number of values, right? Well, let's talk about that. For a frequency distribution, we could write all these out, you know, like I said, 19 plus 19 plus 20 plus 20 plus 20. But that's the hard way to go here. Wouldn't an easier way to do it be this? Like I said, it's 19 and 19, so couldn't I get that by doing 19 times 2? And then for the 20s, couldn't I get the total there 20 times 3? Yeah, so just multiply each value times its frequency. 20 times 3, 22 times 5. 25 times 7. 26 times 4, and 28 times 2. So multiply every value by its frequency, okay, and add those together. For this top. Right here. And add those together. See what I'm saying? Just multiply for the top, the sum of all the values. Just take each value by its frequency and add them together. Oh, what's the, okay, let me write the rest of it here. See if you got it. All right. Now, on the total number, where does that come from? The total number of values there are. Well, again, the frequency tells me how many of each one I've got. So wouldn't it, if I added up the frequency here, wouldn't that be the total number of values there are? That's going to be the n. So I want to add these up right here. Add the total of this column up, and that's going to be the total number of values there are. All right, so that's 5, 10, and 13. Is that 23? 23. So yeah, the total of the frequencies gives you the total number of values there are. And that's what goes here. So my mean from this is, yeah, take each value by its frequency, multiplied, add those up, and then divide by the total of the frequencies. All right? So what do I get? 38 plus 60. That's 110. 25 times 7, that's 175. Check me on these. 26 times 4, it's 104. And 28 times 2 is 56. Then divide that by 23. What do you get? 98. Did I do those right? 98, 110, 175, 104, 56. 543 divided by 23. That's what I get. Does that sound right? $23.6? Yes, I got that in the past, so I'll go with it. All right? All right. So the mean is, for this, 23.6. So we're doing the same thing. It's just, you know, save us some time and whatever. Just multiply these for the mean to get the mean. Add them, divide by the total of those. Okay? All right. Let's talk then. Same group here. Let me clean it up a little bit. Same table here. Let's talk about the median. Okay? What's the median of this group here? All right, well, here's where our median formula is going to come in handy. Here's how I'm going to do this. To get the median, I'm looking for that middle value. And I can't just look at these to get the middle value, because this is not, there's not just 119 or 120 or 122. There's 2 19s, there's 3 20s, there's 5 22s. So there's a long list of these out there. Here's one thing I can do to find this median, the middle value. Let's come over here and do a, I just want to recopy the whole thing there if you don't have room to squeeze it in. But let's do a third column over here. And the third column is going to be what's called the cumulative frequency column. Cumulative frequency. Okay, we'll get to that one. We are going to do the position formula, but let me well, since you mentioned it, all right. So yeah, here's, yeah, we do need the position of the median first. We can do that first. That'd be fine. That'll tell me where it is. And it's n plus 1 divided by 2. What's the n here? The number of values there are. Again, that's back to this number, right? 23. And so that's 24 divided by 2. That's 12. So the median is not 12. The median is in the 12th position. That's what that tells me. Okay? Now, here's how I'm going to find out which one is in the 12th. I could write them all out, but here's another way we can do that. It's called the cumulative frequency. And the cumulative frequency, all that means is the frequency of a value plus all the frequencies before it. Frequency of a value plus all the frequencies of the values that come before it. For example, if I start with the frequency here of 19 being 2, well, there's nothing before it, so the cumulative frequency here is just 2. However, the next frequency, cumulative frequency would be 5, because I would just take this frequency plus the one before it, so 3 plus 2, I got 5. All right, what's the cumulative frequency here? Well, it'd be the 5 plus all the ones before it. That'd be 10. Then I'd have this one would be the frequency plus all the ones before it. 17. This one would be 21, and this would be 23. See that? Really, you just start with this one, and then to get this one, you just add on to it there. See that? All right. That's what cumulative frequency means. Now, why do I do that? Well, this gives me a nice way of determining which value is in the 12th position, because here's what we can interpret this cumulative frequency now as being. This number represents the position of the last, what position the last, for example, 19, what position it's in. The last 19 is in the second slot, obviously, okay? The last 20 is in the 5th slot, right? Because the first 20 would be in the 3rd slot. The next 20, the last 20 would be in the 5th slot. What slot is the last 22 in? The 10th spot. Okay? So that gives me, that slots it out for me. Now, I'm looking for the one that's in the 12th. Which of these values is in the 12th slot? Well, it can't be 22 because the last 22 is in the 10th slot. Which one is in the 12th slot? It'd be 25, wouldn't it? Because the first 25 would be in the 11th slot, and then the last 25 would be in the 17th slot. So the 25 is in that 12th slot, isn't it? So what does that tell me? 25 is the median. So without having to write them all out, that's another way you can do it. Okay? All right, well, let's try another little table here. Try this one out and see if we can do these again for that. All right. Here's the table, frequency distribution, we call it. Value 10, value frequency, sorry. All right, so value 10 has frequency 32. Value 20 has frequency 28. Value 30 has frequency 17. Value 40 has frequency 13. And value 50, frequency 3. Okay? All right, so let's do our mean, median, and mode for those. Let's start with the mode. So that one should be the easiest one of all. Sometimes, though, it gets missed. Okay. Which one's the mode? You tell me. 10 is the mode. Why is 10 the mode? It has a frequency of 32. That means it occurs 32 times. 10's occurring a lot, isn't it? That's what this means. Frequency 32 means it occurs 32 times. What's the frequency of the others? Well, 20 has frequency 28. 30 has frequency 7. With me on this, okay? 10 is the mode. It occurs most often. What is the X bar? What do I mean by X bar? That's the mean. What's the mean here? Well, to find the mean, we need to add up all the values and divide by the total number of values. How do we get the total number, the total of all the values here? Well, in this case, for frequency distribution, you multiply each value by its frequency, 10 times 32, 20 times 28, 30 times 17, 40 times 13, and 50 times 3. Multiply those together, then add them up, and then we're going to divide by, what do we divide by? 5? No. I don't divide by 5. I divide by the total of the frequencies. Yeah, you add up all the frequencies. So that's 60, 77, 93. 93 is the total there, so that's what we divide by here. Okay? Divide by the total of the frequencies. Did I do that right? 103? Let me add them again. 60, 77, and 13 is 93. 93. I believe so.
27, not 37.
Okay. All right. So now, if I multiply those together, what do we got? 320, 560, 510, 520, and 150, I believe, divided by 93. $320, 560, 510, 520, 150, 2060 divided by 93, 22.15. How many ever places they want? I'll say 2 on that one. I don't know what I've got before on that one, so looks about right. Did I do that right? Check me on that. Looks okay? All right. Which leaves one final calculation. the median? Well, its position of the median, got that formula, n plus 1 divided by 2, will be what in this case? Number of values has got 93. Yeah, okay. Divided by 2, so that'd be 94 divided by 2 is 47. So I'm looking for the 47th value. Well, if I come over here and do my cumulative frequency, just add each frequency plus the ones before it. So we've got 32, and then 28 and 32 is 60, and then 17 plus those two would be 77, and then 13 plus those three above it would be 90, and then plus 3 would be 93. Which one of those is in the 47th slot? Well, not that one, because I'm not there yet. Aha! The last 20 is in the 60th slot. So wouldn't the median be 20? Median have to be 20, wouldn't it? Because the 20, this means that the last 20 is in the 60th slot. Well, the first 60 is in the 33rd. One more there than that one. So the 20s would range from the 33rd to the 60th slot. That would include the 47th slot, wouldn't it?